a little town of Fern Hollow, where the moss glowed softly at night and the lantern bugs floated through the trees like tiny stars, there stood a curious little cottage at the end of a winding pebbled path. It was called the Grace House. The cottage was small and round, with emerald windows and silvered vines curling around the doorway. At night, the word grace shimmered softly across the entrance like moonlight resting on water. No one knew exactly who built the cottage long ago, only that whenever someone entered with a heavy heart, they always left a little softer. A young girl named Ivy visited the cottage often. Ivy had a kind heart, but lately she had become frustrated very easily. When her drawings didn't look right, she crumpled them. When her little brother spilt juice, she snapped at him. When she made mistakes, she whispered cruel things to herself that no one else could hear. Well, one rainy evening, Ivy stomped down the pebbled path towards Grace's house carrying a torn piece of paper in her hands. It was her latest drawing. Ruined, at least that's what she believed. Under Ivy's breath, she muttered, "I'm tired of messing things up." Well, as she entered inside the cottage, it smelled like cedarwood, tea, and rain. An old woman sat near the fireplace, knitting tiny silver stars, rocking in her chair. "Oh dear," said the woman gently, looking up with warm eyes. "Sounds like your heart could use a little grace tonight." Ivy frowned. What even is grace? The old woman smiled softly, pointing towards the glowing word above the doorway. "Grace," she said. "It is what we give when mistakes happen." Ivy crossed her arms. "You mean forgiveness?" "Sometimes," the woman said. "But grace is even bigger than that." She stood slowly and walked to a shelf filled with crackered teacups. Each one had been carefully repaired with shimmering silver lines. Thoughtful intention. "Grace," the old woman explained, "is understanding that being imperfect does not make something unworthy of love." Ivy stared quietly at the cups. "They're broken," she whispered. "Yes," said the woman, "and still beautiful." Rain tapped softly against the windows, and the old woman handed Ivy a tiny lantern. "Come," she said. "The house would like to show you something." The lantern glowed pale green as they walked down a spiral hallway Ivy had never noticed before. At the end stood a small wooden doorway. When Ivy went to open it, she gasped. Inside floated hundreds of glowing moments like fireflies. At first, it would be a little boy dropping a birthday cake. Then a mother burning dinner and laughing anyways. A girl tripping during a dance recital, and then someone crying after making a mistake, and then someone trying again. "What is this place?" Ivy whispered. "The Room of Grace," the woman said. "Every light you see is a moment someone chose kindness instead of shame." Ivy watched one glowing memory drift closer. It was her little brother spilling juice earlier that week. She saw his frightened face again. She saw herself yelling. She saw how small she became afterwards. Tears began to fill her eyes. "I didn't mean to hurt him." "I know," said the woman gently. "Grace reminds us that everyone is learning, including you."
Another glowing memory floated near. This time it was Ivy herself crumpling up her drawing. "You speak to yourself more harshly than anyone else," the woman whispered. Ivy looked down. "I just want to be good at things." The old woman knelt beside her. "Sweet child," she said softly, "flowers do not bloom perfectly overnight. and neither do people. The lantern in Ivy's hand glowed brighter. And Grace, the woman continued, is giving herself permission to grow slowly. For a long moment, Ivy stood quietly among the floating lights. Then she carefully unfolded the crumpled paper from her pocket. It wasn't ruined. The lines were crooked, and the color spilled outside the edges, sure, but somehow it felt full of love. I think, Ivy said slowly, I'd like to try again. The old woman smiled. That, she said, that is Grace. And from that night on, whenever Ivy made mistakes, she tried to remember the little silver cottage at the end of the mossy path. The Grace house. The place that taught her that kindness is not only something we give others, but something we must learn to give to ourselves. And each night, beneath the glowing moon, the little cottage would welcome other wondering hearts into this home time and time again.